Why do immigrants only like warm soda?
I think I have heard this one, but go ahead again.
It's because they're avoiding ice. But
Okay, yeah, we definitely did that one. You have to do a new one.
yeah, we've done this before, but the temperature of what's going on with ice and everything,
All right, fine. I guess tariffs are working.
well, kinda. Or even if I mean, I don't want to get political, but Trump imposed tariffs met with Mexico, and Mexico's like, hold on, wait a minute. How about if we
Hold up,
send our
wait a
own
minute.
troops to the U.S. Mexico border to help you with the illegal immigrants? And he was like, all right, cool, that's chill.
But you got a month to see if it'll work.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
not trying to make this
we'll see.
political, but that's what's in the news. So that's what's on the podcast. And now that news clip is over. All right, so welcome to the Racing Home podcast. I'm gonna kick it off because Fez kind of sucked up doing this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
What's going on, Nick?
Just put the video together from this past weekend. So I was over in Dallas for competing with NASA time trials and getting my ass handed over to me in
Mm.
TT3.
Well,
But
it's been a minute since we've done a podcast,
yeah, there's a
so
lot
I'm
to
glad.
get there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yes, so I'm glad that you did stuff, and I kinda have stuff, to talk about. I think off season is a little bit difficult to do podcasts in because we don't have a lot going on to talk about.
Yep.
But, yeah, go ahead, man. How was NASA for you? And was it your first NASA event?
Yeah. So it's my first NASA event, and actually, let's step it back to why I even decided to go into NASA. So
Mm,
I think I've said it before. I'm trying to save PTO this year because going out to the different Gridlife events, as much fun as they are, it's also just very taxing on the amount of PTO that you need to use and take vacation. Like for example, going out to Laguna for 3 days of competing on Laguna required at least 4 days of PTO, and I only get 20 days a year. So trying to do local
mm,
stuff. So with that, I started looking around, and NASA was one of them for their time trials. And doing the classing, I was like, okay, so my car, I have no idea how much horsepower it made at the time. And
mhm.
I had a ballpark idea of what it weighed. In my head, I was like, all right, it weighs roughly 3,400 pounds. I was a bit off on that, and I'll get to that. So I need to go up to, I need to find someone to go and get it dynoed. And it kind of worked out to where the weekend before the NASA event, I was going to be in Dallas anyways for a wedding. So it was like, hey, I'll drive the car up. Carol drives separately. I'll get the car dynoed and leave it at my mother's place in Dallas for the week.
Who shadowed it?
I went over to G Speed Performance over by MSR Crescent. You've been there, haven't you?
Yeah, so, yeah, we kinda wanted to give a shout out to G Speed because they're good people. They are very accommodating, so highly recommend them.
Yeah, they were
They
very, very helpful. So
they mainly
go on. I keep.
God damn it, dude. We've done it for 4 weeks, and now we're already interrupting each other so much. Goddamn.
I fucked up. All right, go on.
Chill out, Nick. Chill your ADHD. So yeah, G Speed is mainly a Corvette shop. They work on a lot of different things. Like they had I remember I took one of the Japanese engineers out there to just kind of give him an idea of what the American motorsports culture is, and he was blown away by how much horsepower we care about. Um, and everything having an LS, and even he saw a Viper with like a 9 or 10 liter engine or something ridiculous. So he was amazed. Definitely very helpful people, very nice people. If you're in the Dallas area and you are near MSR Crescent and you need to shop to build your Corvette from ground up, or just you want to get a dyno done for NASA, highly recommend them.
Yeah, likewise. And what's funny about this dyno situation with G Speed is that my car was actually the first car that they had to dyno in front wheel drive mode since they
Hmm.
moved the dyno. So, from what I was told, they were always at MSR Crescent, but they moved to a different shop area at MSR Crescent. Anyways, they got the dyno into a new spot, and it's one way to basically for me back into the garage because it's in the floor. There's no
Hmm.
ramp or extension to go further one way or the other. So I
Hmm.
backed it in, got the car onto the rollers, and they're like, all right, this car is supposed to be all wheel drive, right? I'm like, yes. But you told us you can go in front wheel drive mode, yet, right? Yes. All right, can you do that? I was like, yeah, sure. Hopefully I get this thing right. So I just hopped onto the Cobb AP, shout out to Cobb, did a little beep boop, power cycled the car, and then I had a layer, just like a summary of different all drive faults. But once they were all cleared, I was like, all right, let's see if the front wheels spin with the e brake still up. rolled off the clutch, and only the front wheels spun. So
Hmm.
that worked. I really want to go do a front wheel drive burnout now. So they got the car strapped down,
Why are
and
you gay?
hmm?
Why are you gay?
Why are you? Where are we going with this?
You are gay for wanting to do front wheel drive burnout.
Oh, I just want to see. I need to send off these Falcons that are still on my street tires or street wheels. I need to send these street tire Falcons to tire heaven in a very smoky fashion. May I continue?
No, that's it. Continue. Yeah. That's pretty gay.
So they got it strapped down, and one of the guys hopped in. And initially, when they tried to do a test pull, the front wheels were just lighting up, and they were looking at me, they were asking me like, "Hey, how much power is this car supposed to be making? It's supposed to be making like 300 horsepower, 400, 700 horsepower." I was like, "I think it's around 400." So turns out, like a third employee came into the shop bay, and they suggested putting the car like further on the front of the rollers, because initially when they had strapped down my car, the wheels were like top dead center of the dyno, and so it wasn't enough, I guess, grip to actually like put power down.
Mm.
Honestly, at first I thought my clutch was done. I thought I was like, really, today's dyno day, my clutch is now slipping, but it was just tire spinning. So
Didn't
they,
you just replace the clutch too?
yeah, that's why I was really worried.
Mm.
So they unstrapped it, restrapped it, pushed the car like a little bit further forward on the dyno, and then they did a run. And the very first run it was 387 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. They did a second pull that came out to 389 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. And then they did a third pull, and that one was slightly lower, still around like 389 and 409 pound-feet of torque. And so for NASA rules, once you do 3 runs, and on the third run, if it's lower, then you're done. Because like as the car's oil warms up, you actually start making more power. So you have to keep doing pulls until your car stops making power.
Mm.
So, anyways, that was it. So now I officially know that it's basically 389 horsepower at the peak, 413 pound-feet of torque. For NASA's average calculator for a turbocharged car, you have to take like the max power and then 3 of the top horsepower numbers at 250 RPM uh, increments. And so with that average calculator, it comes out to 387. So that's what I have to officially tell NASA is what my car is: 387 average real horsepower. And okay, the weight. So I thought I'd be weighing in around like 3,400 pounds. I'm a bit heavier than that. Did I ever tell you how much I weighed after this weekend?
You thickums, that's what I
Oh,
know.
well, I'm
What
thick.
is it? I mean,
She real thick.
yeah, I know what it weighs, but you wanna tell the audience?
So the very first session, I still had my subwoofer, my amplifier, and like that wood platform in the back of the car for loading stuff in
Which
and
I'm
out.
really mad at you about,
Okay,
by the
I
way.
gotta show you how fast I can take it in and out now. I'm really, really good at it. So,
Yeah.
with all that shit in the back, it comes in at 3,564 pounds. Pause. Let me make sure I got that right. I don't think.
Without you in the car.
No, that's with me in the car.
3,500?
Yeah, 30, just over 3,500 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Unpause. All right, so the weight that I officially came in at with all my shit inside the back comes in at 3,516 pounds with a quarter tank of gas with me in it.
That's with you in it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Not as bad.
So for my horsepower, I'm based at that point I was 166 pounds overweight. So then I immediately in the pit in my spot took out the audio equipment, took out the box in the back, and all that all together weighs 52 pounds. So then with a quarter tank of gas, I come out to 3,464 pounds. And then on the second day, actually during my PB lap, it was the lightest. A little bit under a quarter tank of gas, and it came in at 3,457 pounds with me in the car. I must have taken a really big poop that day, that morning.
That's, almost right on the money for GLGT.
So GLGT is what, 8.9?
9.0.
9.0? Is there? I thought it was 8.9. In any
It
case,
was
387, no, 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 no. 34, let's call it 3460 divided by 387. Holy shit, that is 8.94. Dude, I just need some fat tires.
Yeah, and you're good to go. Just put some more gas in it, and you're GLGT ready.
That's actually pretty wild. Yeah, my car is GLGT power to weight compliant.
Mhm.
Well, I'd have to go and put
So
a cage in.
yeah, so where does that put you in NASA class-wise?
So for their classing, that puts me into TT3, which is a 10 to 1 power to weight class.
Mhm,
And I have to go, of course, like with the classing, like the amount of horsepower to run relative to the weight. There's also modifiers based on aero and based on tire width. So for my
mhm,
given tire width, which is a 255 RE71, I could at 387 horsepower, I could theoretically get the weight down to 3,350, so lose 116 pounds, and that would put me right at the class limit, or the weight limit of what I'm allowed for the class.
How can you drop that much weight?
Headliner removal, that'd be one way. A bunch of interior panel removals, washer bottle removal. What else could I do? Carbon fiber body parts, moonroof delete. Come on.
I'm surprised you still have the moonroof, honestly.
I like driving around with it. Like I love driving around cruising with the moonroof cracked open.
Not serious enough, dude. Not serious enough for motorsports world.
Apparently not. Best I ever done in my life was third place with Gridlife.
I say that, but I still have AC in my car that I don't use.
Brah. I'd rem- I removed AC when I was back in Houston. That was the worst mistake I ever made. Because even in the rain, if you don't have AC, you can't like remove the humidity out of the air. So then the inside of the windshield fogs up. Even if you have a heater, you got to remove the humidity out. That
Mm,
sucked. Any case, so TT3 NASA. Day one was me just kind of like getting my bearings straight again. So I have not been to Eagles Canyon Raceway. I fucking love the track, but I have not been there in 2 years since you and I went together. So back
mhm,
then, the car was on E30 and it had aero, but it was on
mhm,
RT660s, and it probably weighed about the same. Maybe a little bit lighter because back then I did not have the roll bar bolted in, but I had the rear seats taken out, so probably another 50 pounds lighter. Any case,
when was this again?
2021.
It's 2022
Sorry,
because I had just bought my car.
7 it back. So we won 2023. It was 2 years ago.
No, it's 22.
23.
22. I had just bought my car in January of 22, and we went on track March of 22. I was already yellow by
Oh, you're right. It was 2022 because in 2023 is when I was in Korea during this time.
there you go, sir.
Damn, so it's been 3 years since I've been to Eagles Canyon Raceway.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Well, so back then I did a high 211 or 212. Rob and I both, and you beat us by like a second and a half to 2 seconds in my own car.
Oh, I did a 210 in your car.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, sucker.
I'd never claim, and I still don't claim to be a good driver. Any case, so me
Sucker.
personally, 212, and so now my PB from the weekend was a 206. Like the first session I went out 210, and then every session I went out, I dropped a second to 2 seconds. But
Yeah, I think
okay,
you were learning the track, as you went by, because obviously, like, it's been 3 years since you've
yeah,
been at ECR. Your car, I don't know if it's faster in this configuration or it's faster in the previous configuration because you had aero, and ECR does like aero
turn
because,
six
like, turn 6,
loves
turn
it.
7.
Oh yeah, turn 6 and turn 7.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, I'm not sure which trim is faster, but I will say you could have gone significantly faster in your car if you had just put new tires. This man had RE71 RS, and how old were they, Nick?
They are 14 months old because I got them for Laguna over a year ago. Laguna of
Laguna in
20,
2023.
yeah, Laguna 2023.
Yeah.
So they're pretty old
So if
tires.
you had just new tires, I think, or newer tires, you coulda I think your car is capable of a 202, 203 easily.
Yeah, I think so too. I think give me another day or 2 at ECR and also give me so my PB lap, I had traffic. That was another thing. My turn 9 was compromised on, like, that back section of the Italian Canyon.
Mhm,
So I had to basically kinda take a compromised line and lift where I didn't want to. So,
mhm.
that alone probably costed me about a second, and then there were some other line corrections that coulda cost me another second or 2. And new tires, yeah, I could see me in the car with enough seat time getting down to 203, 202.
Yeah.
So,
Um, Also, you need a name.
yeah, that too. I'm just seat of the pants, feeling it out, and hoping for the best.
Yeah. Fun fact for our audience: Nick and I, any track that we go to, we're roughly around the same time. I don't know why, but like every time we're around roughly the same time. And even now, I did a 206.5, I think, in my car, and you did what?
206.8.
Yeah, so very, very close.
We
I was I got blocked by traffic that lap, but I was like I lost like second and a half around that. But overall, I think both of us should be around 204s.
Yeah, I think so too. I really wanna go during a really, really light track day, like, during PB weather. Obviously, it's a
Mhm.
hard thing to go and, like, to come by, but if we had an absolutely clean track day, it could be pretty fun, to see us try to get down to 204 or 203s.
Mhm.
The so, okay, I don't think I have anything else. Is there any do you have any other questions about my car or, like, how it did over the weekend? Because I kinda wanna dig into, like, NASA as an organization.
Mm.
Not in a bad
So I
way.
guess question for you as in general questions, I think, to update the people. Um, so did you have any cooling issues?
No, because it was,
Were
like,
you
40 degrees.
but are have you resolved your cooling issues?
No, not necessarily. So the ducting that I did, it does help with keeping the temperatures down. It was only at the very end, like the very last session and on both Saturday and Sunday, when air temps were at like 78 and I assume track temps were probably like in the low 80s to upper 80s. If I was in the fourth or fifth lap, then my coolant temps had risen high enough that I would start pulling back on timing. But that's still
Mhm.
way better than what it used to be. Like, it used to, like, in some conditions, not even be able to do a full hot lap. So I
Yeah.
do think that ducting is helping, but that my cooling, saga is not done yet. So Damon Motorsports, he is building a oil cooler dedicated to the Focus RS, and so he's already sent over the bracket and the heat exchanger itself over to me so I can, like, verify that it'll, bolt up correctly and fit with my duct, and it will. But he still needs to send me the oil lines, thermostatic plate, and the coolant to oil heat exchanger delete. So effectively what's gonna happen is like my coolant and oil right now in the OEM form, there is a heat exchanger exchanging heat between coolant and oil. That's
Mhm.
basically the OEM version of an oil cooler. It sucks.
Mhm.
It helps with warming up the oil really quick in cold climates, but now with really hot coolant and oil, they just want to heat each other up. Any case, he'll send it over. Should be here sometime before Gridlife Road Atlanta in May, and that'll help significantly. Once I'm able to separate the coolant and oil from each other, the coolant will stay much cooler. The EC will see cooler coolant temperatures, and it won't pull back on timing because the oil temperature that the car thinks it's seeing, it's all algorithm based on coolant temperature and RPM. So, anyways, I'll be getting one for the Focus and joining the rest of y'all with heat exchangers for actually keeping your cars cool. And hopefully that'll be the end of my coolant problem saga. But right now, in like the
Alright.
cooler temperatures that we're having in Texas, it's totally fine to track the car. It's not really getting in the way that much. What else? What else? What else?
Alright. I was gonna make
I do have one other car problem saga.
Mhm.
Okay. So about 2 weeks ago I installed a ethanol content analyzer. Not because the car needs one. I just run pump E85 and always run pump E85. I never do any kind of blending. But I wanted the peace of mind of knowing, like, what the ethanol content was because it is a winter blend, and so it is lower in ethanol content, goes from, what, 80, 85 down to, like, 70, 68.
Yeah.
Any case, so I had it in the car, and there's not really a good way to, like, have a straight run for fuel to go from the hard line to the high pressure fuel pump in the engine bay. And so almost all the kits that I've seen, they all kind of like have a content analyzer over by the battery side, which requires like two different 90s, goes through the analyzer and then a 90 and then back up to the engine. And I'm already having some low side pressure regulation issues, potentially like needing to upgrade my fuel pump and the fuel tank. So I was very concerned about further restricting the fuel flow to the engine. So I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'll just go and have a T-fitting, basically making it to where fuel can go through the analyzer or it can go through the engine, and so it requires 2 T-fittings." This little side project, which should have been, like, 30 minutes in the garage, turned out to take
Mhm.
me a whole week to go and, like, resolve because I kept on chasing down fuel leaks in this, but eventually, I got it installed, stopped the fuel leaks, and all was golden. Get to the
Nice.
dyno, no problems. Get to the track, fucking the first session, it feels like it's hitting a wall all of a sudden, and what I looked at in the logs is that the low pressure sensor for the fuel system was getting triggered, and so it would go and cut fuel and cut timing and just, like, kill power to the engine in the moment to protect itself from going too lean. So I was like, "Fucking damn it." So then I popped the hood to go and, like, further inspect, and then I look at the, content analyzer in the engine bay, and the 3D bracket that was holding the analyzer in its spot completely shattered
Mhm.
and broke. There was a bolt somewhere. I'm sorry, NASA and ECR, but there's probably a bolt somewhere out there on the track still or in the grass because my bolt is gone for this bracket that was holding my analyzer in place.
Who'd you get that bracket from?
I don't wanna blast them.
Did it
It's a
come with the
company.
kit?
Yeah, it came with it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fuel like, it's a dedicated ethanol content analyzer for the Focus RS, and it comes with a 3D bracket where it goes up against the battery box, the OEM battery box, but I
Mhm.
don't have that, I have a lightweight battery. So then
Mm.
I have, like, this aluminum, L bracket that I attached it to, but the L
Mhm.
bracket was totally fine, it was a 3D printed portion that just disintegrated. I don't know if it's from the heat or from vibrations or what, but, like, it the 3D bracket holding onto the analyzer or, well, the 3D bracket between the analyzer and my L bracket, that just disintegrated. Again, I don't know if
Hmm.
it's from heat or vibrations or what, but it only happened after the first session. Got it dynoed, like, I had been doing runs on the highway as well, so who knows? Maybe just couldn't hold on to the RE71 G forces. Just kidding.
Your G-forces aren't shit
Yeah, I know. They're nothing.
because 'cause they're a year and a half old.
They're nothing.
Uh,
Any case, so
oh
I was slightly concerned about like this setup breaking on me. So I brought
mhm,
my original fuel line with me to the track. And
mhm,
so while the engine, I just let the engine kind of cool off and got to the point where like, okay, everything's around the engine is pretty cold, relatively. So then I put rags down, disconnected the fuel line, pulled the content analyzer out, and then slapped the old fuel line back on, primed it, got the car started up again, no fuel leaks, and I was good to go for the second session. But that was a saga that I just wasted like $300 with this analyzer, to be honest.
mm,
Maybe I'll try it.
be like that.
Yeah, sometimes it happens like that. You kind of know that after you're out this past year.
So, yeah, I wasted 3 grand on suspension, so,
so, so what were we gonna say?
uh, sorry, another question just out of curiosity. What
Yeah.
was the E85 content like near the at the racetrack near, ECR?
So it was the nearest E85 station is Racetrack in Denton, about 30 minutes from the track, and that came out to E68, which was the
Okay.
same ethanol content that I had over at the racetrack near your house in Dallas.
Yeah, because there's no way it's 85 or 80 because, like, the racetrack has the same supplier. It's a corporate chain. It's not a privately owned
Yeah,
company.
someone on the Facebook had made a in the Dallas tracking group had said that the racetrack in Denton had E80 the same weekend that I had just filled up with E68 with you.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But when I got there Saturday morning, it was E68. So I was like, all right, this is the exact same ethanol content that was at the one next to your house. So maybe the
Okay.
guy did have E80 and we just swapped over to E68 that this late in the season, but I highly doubt it.
I really doubt it.
So
Uh,
what something so I know that you don't have a flex tune yet.
mhm.
I guess you could if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
Yeah, me neither. But what we need to watch out for are ignition corrections. So I had that up the entire time I was tracking, and my car never actually corrected negatively. But it was always like adding timing, even with the E68. So,
Mhm.
but I was on my lower tune. So in order for me to have that 387 horsepower, I have to run my lower boost tune, my lower power tune. So it's just like a PSI less boost and less timing.
Mhm.
So all good. So Brian from JSC Performance, his tune is pretty damn good. So can run E70 and no problem. And that was my NASA weekend with the Focus. Every
What'd you think about NASA as an organization?
so something I do appreciate is they are incredibly organized, in my opinion. So like the week of the event, they were constantly sending out emails and like track maps and schedule and making sure they had all the various different links for different competitors because they had HPD, time trials, which wheel racing, and then day of, they're very kind of strict on everyone getting teched and going through all the ropes and making sure that you attend literally every meeting that is out there for your respective participation. But in any case, that was totally fine. Like Grid Life in comparison, Grid Life is more relaxed and laid back, where Grid Life only has one morning meeting for drivers, and NASA, I had to go and attend three different meetings, no, four different meetings throughout the weekend.
Why?
I don't know. They just have like a midday checkup of like, how's everything going? Is there any concerns that people have?
Mm,
That's it. So nothing for me. Oh, I had to get a checkout ride. That was kind of funny. So I submitted to them like my experience, like, yeah, I've done Super Lap Battle. I've been doing Grid Life for the past 3 years.
mhm,
Um, I'm always in advanced HPD sessions. So they separated me from the time trials people. There's a dedicated like 20-minute session for time trials, like warm up Saturday morning. And they put
mhm,
me in the HPD session with the instructor just to go and verify that I knew what I was doing. All he was looking for was making sure that I like watched for flaggers, had proper driving etiquette when approaching cars in front of me, as well as like having cars pass me. So that was all fine. He checked me out immediately. It was all good. But NASA's organization, um, they run things a little bit differently, but nothing about it that I hated except for one thing.
mhm,
So in Grid Life, whenever we're released onto the track, like the person like waving his hands, kind of showing like, "Hey, create space! Like, don't be on the bumper of the car in front of you. Create some space."
mhm,
And then you go around the track, and then you have your first flying hot lap.
mhm,
That is great for me because like depending on if it's a really fast car or a slow car, acceleration wise, in front of me, I will kind of like pace myself accordingly. So,
mhm,
say it's a 911, I'll be right on the bumper, not right on the bumper, but relatively close because I know he's gonna leave me in the straight, and then
mhm,
I won't catch him until hopefully the end of the lap. Meanwhile, if it's like, say you in front of me, I know we're gonna put down a similar lap time, but I can't be right on your bumper in the straight, so I will leave a significant amount of space between you and I if I'm behind
mhm,
you. In NASA, they all want to go and get together to the point that like the front leaders are told to like slow down to make sure all the cars are like bumper to bumper coming into the second to last corner. So like there's no way for me to create space when there's a GR86 or a S2000 in front of me. I want to. I
mhm,
mean, he's probably going to put it down faster lap time. He is. He's already done it. That's why he's in front. But there's no opportunity for me to like create the space that's needed for the straight. Because me being TD3, I'm gonna freight train down his bumper, but then he's gonna leave me in the corners. But like I have no personal opportunity to like create that gap in front of me. So that was
mhm.
kind of frustrating. So there's a guy named Ben. I shouldn't call him out. I won't say his last name, but he's a great guy. So so Mr. Ben in his S2000.
You
Um
just outed the guy.
no, he's really good. This is a
There's
good
not
thing. No, this is a good thing. This is
there's
a good
not
thing. This
many
is a good thing.
Bens with S2000s.
All right, we'll call him
I
Benjamin
like
then.
I like how you started with Ben is a guy named Ben. Oh wait, I shouldn't call him out. But okay, I won't say his last name. So there's a guy named Ben with a yellow S2000s,
No, it's
bro.
red.
Like, what? Okay, so he just outed him even more.
He's a great guy. No, 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 that's not an outing. This is actually doesn't really add anything to the story. All right, forget that his name is Ben. If you heard his name is Ben, he's not Ben anymore. This is Larry. So Larry with the silver Miata. Anyways,
Just go, dude. Just go.
alrighty. So in like the middle of the Saturday session, again, we're in this problem. So like, okay, green flag. There's no space in front of me. There's no space. The guy behind me's around my bumper. So I'm just gonna go. Uh, I just sat on his bumper on every single straight for like half the lap. I was like, screw this. I'm not putting in a great lap time. It was came out to like 2:10 ish, whatever. It's like I'm not like going all out. So then I tried to pit, but then with NASA, as soon as he's like, if you I I should have, like, stayed to the left, but, like, I kinda brain farted and went to the right getting out of the pits, and I was like, "Fuck, I shouldn't have done that." Now I have to go, like, weigh my car and, like, my session's automatically over. So, there was that. Now the second time we went out there and I was still behind this silver Larry Miata S2000 Ben guy, we went back out, but then he saw, like, what was going on, and he actually gave me a point buy on the out lap. So I was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna take this," and it actually all worked out. So then that session, whenever we got the green flag, I had my clean air as well as because I was able to freight train away from him, he had clean air as
Mhm.
well. We both put in PB lap times that session, and all was great and dandy. Went and spoke to the guy, and anyways, he's a great guy. But like, which is so frustrating that I feel like NASA kind of put their drivers in this situation with different uh class
That's
cars
the
at the
issue, right? Like,
same
they
track in the same session.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, they have, like, 40 cars in the same session for all of time trial. You have unlimited cars to all the way down to, TT6 cars,
Yeah.
which are, like, Miatas, spec Miata cars and whatnot, which is I don't like that, and then they also, like, bunch you up so much so that the very front guy is fine, and a couple cars behind him are fine, but the cars all the way back, they like, I remember I had to go, pit and start in the very back of the pit, the outlap or whatever,
Mhm.
or right up at the very back because I didn't set up a qualifying time.
Right.
And, I was stopped, literally was going 3 miles an hour through turn, like, 12 or 13, something like that. I was
Yep.
like, "This is ridiculous." Like, I have no heat in my tires, it's cold as heck, like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do well.
The heat aspect, that's also what's pissing me off is the fact that because we're coming down to, like, damn near, like, traffic standstill on track, your tires are getting
Mhm,
cold.
mhm,
So, it was just like, I don't know, I don't see the point if someone could, like, explain to me, like, "Oh, it's great for, like, this XYZ scenario that
mhm.
doesn't just help the front runners," then, like, I'm all ears to hear it. I personally did not see the benefit of it. I saw more negatives than positives, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, still you're still on track. You're still doing time trials sessions,
Yeah, dude,
and
I don't
so
wanna pay for that shit, you know what I mean? Like, I even talked to the guy that was out there that was, a NASA person,
mhm.
and he was the one purposefully in his friend's car slowing everyone down so everyone could be bunched up. And I was like, "Dude, why are we doing that? Like, the people in the back have no heat in the tire. We're going 3, 4 miles an hour. Like, this is ridiculous." And he's like, "Oh, we'll fix it. Don't worry." And then they never did it. Like, it's just I don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't a fan.
I'm not a fan either. Am I still able to put down PVs? Yeah. Would I, if I'm going out to a NASA weekend with friends, am I going to do HPD or am I going to do time trials? I'm still going to pick time trials just because
Mhm,
I personally think that the drivers have better etiquette. And it's a better chance of having clean air to actually put it down to PB. Like, I was listening
so
to Adam Hill with
mhm,
his, GR86, beautiful car, incredibly, well done, but he was having a ton of traffic in HPD,
mm.
even in the advanced
Even
session.
in advance?
Yep,
Oh,
even in advance.
'cause when I went there, I got disqualified for being, like, 5 pounds underweight from whatever,
That
and
was
I wasn't able to, like, add weight either. Like,
gotcha,
all I needed was a little bit more gas.
gotcha.
Once you get disqualified, you're disqualified for the day, by the way. You don't get to redo anything.
Well, that's lame. Okay,
Um,
good to know.
which is terrible, honestly, because like, literally, I was at, like, an eighth of a tank, and I coulda just put half a tank or, even a tank,
Yeah.
and I would've been fine. But they disqualified me for the day, and I was like, "Hey, just put me in HPD. I don't wanna do this shit anymore." So they put me in HPD, and I had more fun in advanced HPD because there was, like, less traffic, there's no bunching up, I wasn't, like, you know,
Hmm. I guess it
wasn't
really
crowded.
depends on the type of weekend. This was, like, the Texas opener, so very first NASA event of the year. So I felt like there was
Mhm.
probably I think there was a lot of people that were there. Also, did you have racing that weekend? Like, were there racers the weekend that you
What
went?
do you mean?
Like, was there wheel-to-wheel
Like
racing?
yeah, there was wheel-to-wheel
Okay.
racing.
I don't know. HPD was packed when I was there.
Oh.
What
Yeah,
else? Yeah, that's that. ECR itself was the venue. My favorite track in
mhm.
Texas. The
What
venue's
was it
so
about?
good. Okay, so compared to, like, what our previous podcast where we kinda shit on, G2,
Mhm.
ECR, it is I don't understand anyone who would, like, put down money for G2. Why wouldn't you just put down money at ECR? It's in the same
'Cause
metroplex. The
G2 is 20, 30 minutes away from most people, while ECR is an hour away. It's pretty
Worth
close.
it. 100% worth it. The only downside is, like, some pretty shitty country roads driving out there, but once you get to the, venue for Eagles Canyon Raceway, there's elevation to it, there's brand new restrooms, brand new restaurant, brand new member garages, brand new pavement, there's constant construction, they're constantly making new buildings and impressing me. There is so much race car memorabilia at the like the retreat building. You can go inside and just look at old vintage race cars, old gas
Mhm.
station gas pumps, just memorabilia and antiques. It is so
They
cool,
also have an off-road track now,
and they have an off
so
road track. Yeah, and from what I heard, is they're trying to do another. Was it a drift pad? No, go karting. They're trying to add a go kart track too. And they want the
dude,
go-kart track to be wide enough to also double as a drift track.
alright.
Dude, there's so much going for ECR, I'm so excited. It's a
Better get a membership now when it's cheap.
Yeah, that's true. It is
Um,
a playground for automotive enthusiasts.
mhm.
Alright, but
Alright,
that's my
man.
weekend.
That sounds cool, Nick. Yeah, I mean, NASA is I have my own opinions of NASA, but it is a good way to get into time trials and whatnot, and if you're trying to do it locally and get some decent competition. I know there are some people in TT4, uh, Kelsey, Silvio, they were running an 8.6 with a K24 swap, a K20 head, K24 block. Um, and they were competing against this Miata. They were like back to back, like within point 0.2, point 0.1, point 0.3 seconds of each other.
Mhm.
Um, both broke the TT4 record this weekend, which I was trying to break with my car, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get close to them because I make a lot less power than them. Um, and they were on slicks. So I think with slicks, I could probably do 203s or 20 high 202s if I just perfect everything. Um, but I mean, huge props to them for being able to do that. And that was the type of competition that I would be looking for, right? Like just kind of club to our level where you're just kind of going back and forth with and being so close to each other. So yeah, that is a good way to get into time trials and time attack and whatnot if
Yeah.
you're trying to do it locally. My weekend was good. I hung with Jim Smith Aline, or better known as James Smith. Uh, he was in town from South Bend, Indiana. He was in Austin, so I drove down to Austin to hang out with you guys,
Yep.
Jim and some of his buddies, and all of us. We went to the Comedy Mothership, great place. A lot of fun. Tony Hinchcliffe came out and performed. It was funny because he's like, I was going to a birthday party, but I thought I'd come over here and shit talk for a bit. So and it was good. It was a good time. Had a lot of fun. Good pizza right next to it.
Yeah, pretty
Great
solid
pizza.
pizza on 6th Street.
Hmm. I made Jim hike. It was like maybe 3/4 of a mile, of if that. We went to Mount Bunnell and the 360 bridge, and the dude was dying, and I was like, "Aren't you trying to lose weight, dude?" You know?
Okay, uh,
Uh,
quick question, Fez.
yeah.
Is it just the weight reason that he may have, been struggling on these hikes? Quote, unquote, "hikes," they're only, like, 5 minutes of climbing. But is
Yeah.
it the weight? Is that all it was?
So he said his legs and butt was burning from the steep steps, and I was like, "Okay." And he was feeling better when he was, hiking instead of being in the car. So Nick's car, the Nick's
Okay,
Expedition is the one
no,
I was
okay, we're gonna
borrowing.
blame the car, we're gonna blame the
Oh, yeah,
suspension.
yeah, yeah. You wanna call his ass out? Imma call your ass out, motherfucker. Uh, so your suspension might be blown, and the car was, like, floaty, which made, our buddy car sick. But, it didn't help that he was hungover and,
Also,
yeah, he
what
was
else?
I don't wanna say that.
Okay.
I don't wanna blast him like that. So, yeah, he was a little hungover and, he wasn't feeling well, and there's a point where we had to maybe pull over and, have Mr. Smitheline take care of his business while we waited in the car. And then we went on hiking, it was a good time.
Man, I handed
Uh,
over my expedition. I was like, "All right, it's a little bit low on gas, but Fez is a good guy. He's gonna go and fill it up for me." And oh, it's a little dirty. Who knows? Maybe he'll like take it to the car wash, and he'll be super thankful for allowing him to drive his car, so he didn't have to unhitch the trailer, and it'd be nothing but thanks. Instead, I get all this shit talk about my poor expedition, having blown
Listen,
suspension.
man.
It has. I hopped back in. It had 9 miles to empty.
Okay, listen. I was gonna fill it up for you but we did not have time to fill up and also get to the comedy mothership event.
That's true.
In my defense, I kinda Venmoed you in a way.
That's true. Yeah, we were
Okay,
paying
so,
we were helping each other out. Oh, so
you know
what okay, so what is one of the reasons why we had a lack of time to get back or a lack of time to fill up? What were we doing just before the comedy
oh,
show?
we thank you for bringing that up, reminding me. We were at Coda for go-karting, and we had a quick little battle between our podcast and our frenemies, the Slow podcast. I forgot their name, not gonna lie. Uh
Matt on, the Flat Out podcast also forgot. He legitimately forgot. It's like, "Oh, shit, this is a racing home podcast, it's a driving home podcast." Yeah, we met up with
uh,
Morgan or sorry, Smoko and Matt from Flat Out Podcast and had a little podcast rivalry.
yeah, so how did that go, Nick?
So first race, first session, I got P1, you got
Mhm.
P3? We beat him. That's all I know. We beat Morgan at least. That was in the
It was
first
P1,
session.
P2.
P1, P2 for the
Mhm,
Racing Home podcast, as it should have been.
mhm, got him.
And then
And then they upped the speed of the go-karts, and Matt joined, and, Matt didn't go faster than us, but he did when he went out again, he, went a second
he
faster than
went
me, which was
significantly
wild.
faster. Yeah. He was the only one
Uh,
out of everyone that did a sub 60 lap time. The rest of us
yeah.
did 60, 61s. Matt is,
I will say, though,
yeah.
I wanna give credit where credit is due. Jim and I were the fattest people there, and we had the fastest time, okay? Best time over 200 pounds, just saying. And in my other defense, I was supposed to beat Morgan because or Smoko, because we're
Yeah.
about similar weight. You and Matt are similar weight, and you lost.
Yeah.
You let me down.
He weighs, I think he weighs 10 pounds less than me.
Okay, all right. He weighs 70 pounds less than me.
He
Come on.
he's in TT2 class, I'm in my TT3 class.
I'm in TT6.
Is Jim in TT7? If there was
We're
one?
the same weight. Jim and I are the same weight. Okay,
Yeah.
we're like 4 or 5 pounds apart. But anyways, so yeah, it was a good.
Should I talk about my, little incident with Jim on track?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so at Coda, on turn 1, 2, 3, 4, turn 4, there was some water running across, and so all of us were kinda sliding around. Some of us were going around and avoiding the water to maintain grip. Some of us were, like, literally as what I was doing was pitching the car just before the water stream, hitting the stream, sliding a little bit, gripping up, and then shooting straight for towards turn 5. Well, on one of the laps, I pitched it too far in, so when I hit the water, I actually like ended up spinning out. I spun out, parked it like right in the middle of the row, as if I was like that one car at Road America past year in Gridlife. So Jim comes around the corner. He's got drivers on both sides, and he has nowhere to go except straight into me. So Jim
Mhm.
face to face like collision, and I don't know how it happened, but like he kind of like collision kind of like spun him around, and when it spun, he also like went up on two wheels. It was a solid where his right side of his car was a solid 2 feet up in the air to the point where I was like, oh, this could get real ugly. And then half a second later, he's back down the ground. But like there was a small moment where I thought Jim was going to go up and over onto his head. I was like, well, there he is. But no, he was fine. His back is okay. He may have been a little buzzed, so maybe that was helpful for him. Everything's all good, but that was a bit of a sketchy moment.
Yeah. Overall, great weekend.
Yep.
It was more of a weekday, but yeah, it was great. Had a great time with everyone. I guess we're tied with the Flat Out podcast now. We just got to do redemption.
Wait, hold
I
on.
will.
No. We're not. Hi. So Matt beat me. So Matt ended up getting the fastest time, then you, then me, then Morgan. Uh, so okay, in that regard, we're tied. But you did not show up at the track sprint back in November, where they both beat me. So technically, I'm sorry, but
Hey man,
they are up on
whose
us. They are
side
one
are
up on
you?
us. I want to be on our side, but
Who's,
you're not defending me.
well, I'm not doing gay ass autocross, bro.
No, it's a track sprint at Harris Hill.
Same shit.
All right, we'll show up this November.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
It's all fun.
Maybe if you don't have that little box in the backseat of your car
Okay, that
and
weighs
running
52
a
pounds.
year and a year and a half of freaking old tires. Come on, dude. Step up your shit.
I'm just going out there to have fun. I'll have new tires for.
Bullshit. That's a bullshit ass excuse. Whenever someone's losing, it's like, "Oh, I'm just there to have fun." That's a Miata answer. That's a Miata owner answer. I'm not the fastest out there, but I have the most fun car. All right, suck a dick, bro.
I ran into the
Sorry.
podcast.
I went off a little bit. My bad. My
No, it's all good.
bad. But you deserve it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, seriously, like if I were to go and actually like try to like compete into TT3, the car would class out of street class in Gridlife
well, how?
because like I would have to go and add aero. Adding aero would take me out of street and that put me in street mod. And then
Listen,
Hmm?
hold on, pause. You like don't actually pause, but in a way that you're not doing grid life. You already have Arrow sitting at your house.
Yeah, I know. I was just lazy
All
to
you
put
gotta
it
do
on.
is bolt it on and bolt it off. And like don't take that much weight out. All you gotta do is just put some Arrow on and maybe some new tires. That's all you gotta do to try.
Actually, now I think about it, NASA does not have an upper limit on tire size. So that would be the other way I could make the car faster to go and fit some fatter tires on, like do some
Yeah.
fenders, fatter tires. Like, yeah, there are things I can go and do, but like to really like push the car to be a competitive TT3 car, it's going to require stuff that would take me out of street class and grid life and make it
Yeah.
more frustrating to go back and forth.
Mhm.
The way the car is for fitting into grid life street class rules, like I love the way it is, and I don't know. I'd rather take it easy at
I'm
home.
not
Huh?
saying that. I'm saying that like right now, you're all you need to do is just get new tires
Yeah,
and
but that's
not
not gonna
have
be a
that
sub 2 minute lap
problems on.
time. Like TT3, the fastest car of the weekend was TT3, and they did a 150. No, I take it back. It was TTU. The second fastest was a TT3, and they did a 159.
Yeah.
TTU did 157. TT3 did 159. Yeah,
I think with Arrow and maybe slicks, you can do it.
6 seconds.
Yes. You have 400 foot-pounds of torque. You should not be doing the same lap times as me.
No, but I also weigh like 700 pounds more.
Yeah, your power to weight is still significantly fat better. I'm at like 13 to 1.
Yeah, but
You're
the
at
power doesn't
9.
help going around the corner.
Power that's a very there's a lot of straights on that track.
There are, but there's also a lot of corners, like where I'm not able to go
Yeah,
full throttle.
that's like no, that's like saying straight mod should be the same as I don't know, Club TR
No, I'm just saying
or Street GT. Street GT is significantly faster than Club TR,
Street DT, yes. That I do agree.
which is just power. They have power, but they weigh 3,400 pounds. What driver?
Yeah.
So not an excuse, man.
Hey, I
I think you can do it. This is me being a buddy and pushing you.
100%. I'm just also
Um,
setting the real I'm just setting the expectations, like, I'm not gonna push the car to be at the podium worthy area
mhm,
of the class.
and I didn't say that. I said just new tires,
Oh,
or
yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah. Also
yeah.
also, I got a wedding reception to fund in April, so there's that.
Okay, well, stop being a fucking adult. Gosh, be a man and screw the wedding and go faster. Gosh, that's what
That's not
matters.
called
Nobody,
that's not being a
nobody's gonna,
that's not being a man,
nobody's
that
gonna
is
remember your
being
man wedding.
single.
Okay, you doesn't man. Nobody's gonna remember your wedding or your wife. They're only gonna remember your lap time.
Oh, I'm gonna edit this part out.
Gail's gonna kill me.
You're never invited back to Austin. Like, let alone the house, just to the city.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Carol, if you're listening. I'm sorry. That was just a joke. I'm just trying to push some buttons, and I think I might have pushed too far.
That is 2000 that's sitting over at the shop getting caged right now. You better hope Duck's able to pick it up, not you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know we're kind of over a little bit, so I'll leave my ECR trip out.
This might be the last podcast that Fez is on, according to Carol.
On that note, on that threatening note, thank you for joining, everyone. I will see you guys on the next one. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it might be a month from now, it might be 2 days from now. Who knows? It'll be sometime in the middle of those two time frames.
Or Carol might have killed me by then. I don't know.
We just got to keep you in separate cities, and everything will be okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you're here this far, hopefully Fez is still alive for the next one.
Toodles.
Toodles. Bye.